Welcome guys, it's Dami here from Clientele Boosters, and today I want to discuss triggers and what drives you. So let me ask you a question. Are you more driven by fear or reward? You see, back when I was 21 years old, 22 years old, I was about to pretty much secure my first six-figure job working as, a head of sales and client success for a big startup, and it's competing with big billion-dollar giants across the world. And what it took for me to eventually get that six-figure role and maintain it at 21, 22 was a lot of personal development and growth. I hired this cognitive behavioral coach because I found myself not only in business and in corporate world, but also in basketball, finding limits that I would push through to and then I would self-sabotage. And I was like, why does this keep happening? And I did a lot of inner work with her, and it was fantastic. I was able to stabilize, a six-figure income and salary, and that allowed my business to then grow on the side a lot faster and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, humans are driven by two core things. There's many other things, but two core primal things, fear or reward. And what I realized was I'm actually driven a lot more by fear than reward. And oftentimes as humans, we are driven by certain things that stem from our childhood. Now we know this, but doing the work to actually dig deeper into this makes a world of a difference when it comes to you getting results. So I'll give you an example. When I was in and I've discussed this on different videos, when I was in my tween age years, so between about 11 to 13 years old, I got bullied a lot verbally within the private school that I moved to when I was in year 7. And basically I was called things like fat nigger, and I didn't even know what nigger meant at the time, and a ton of other terms. And I went from being chubby, not even super fat. You can find the images from me at 12 years old on Facebook if you do enough research. But I went from being chubby to borderline anorexic. So what happened was I noticed very early at an age that I was an extremist. I was fortunate to be able to understand and learn that pattern. So I then applied it to basketball. 5-7 years later, I'm playing basketball in LA and Sacramento. I started applying it to business just before COVID. I was featured in the paper at 20 years old for having a digital marketing business that was on the brink of what would, publicly be called successful. That's why me now, 4 years later, I've been able to rebuild it, obviously to a much bigger size and a much firmer business model. But I already had a taste of that 4 years prior, lost it, had to get it back. So one of the things that you'll need to do is figure out, what are you more driven by, fear or reward? What I want you to do is to actually write down 3 pivotal moments from your childhood that you remember still to this day. And I want you to describe the emotions that you attach to those pivotal moments from your childhood and why you think you attach such strong emotions to them. Once you do that with 3 pivotal moments, you'll probably get a bit of an answer towards whether you lean a bit more towards fear or reward. By the way, there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong at all. It's just about understanding how you are wired, because that's going to be an excellent tool that you can use to leverage when it comes to you taking sales activities or outbound or lead generation type tasks. I'll tell you why. When you're on the phone with someone and they say, mate, listen, I love what you're doing, but I'm really just not looking to purchase right now. I think the other one's better than you, or yada, yada, yada. Yes, you're going to learn different sales techniques, in terms of tonality and overcoming objections and all that good stuff. But ultimately, it comes down to conviction. The reason why you're in this program is because you are convicted that Dami is a bit crazy enough that he will be able to you'll be able to get a pinch of, our marketing success and apply it to your own business. You've seen me build things ridiculously quickly, like Wasasa to 1 billion views plus. You see me build my agency to where it is now, where we're renowned all across Australia. And I've worked with celebrities, politicians, some of the biggest events. I've made people $100,000 in less than 6 weeks on more than one occasion. I've helped businesses' revenues grow by 10% in 10 days. I've worked with 15 to 25 different industries, majority by 23 years old. And 24 has just been, to be honest, a lot of a consolidation year, where we're just stacking more, growing more. And by the time I'm 25, we'll probably have 100, 300 clients. The reason why I've been able to especially make some of those leaps and bounds, to be honest, mainly in the last 2 to 3 years, is because I know that at the end of it all, even if you see me in a Lamborghini, even if I'm on Forbes next year or this year, even if I make $10 million in my agency next year or whatever, and $5 million this year, doesn't matter. I know that at the end of the day, I'm still going to be more driven by a client having an issue that I need to fix, as opposed to I get to make another 10 grand this week. At the end of the day, now I still draw significant pleasure from making that much money and increasing revenue or billing, etc. But I'm aware of what drives me more. And that's because I understand the points from my mental framework that I'm still that slightly chubby kid in my head, partially from 12 years ago. Now, do I look good in the gym? Do I look good with my shirt off? Absolutely. I love having my shirt off. But besides the point, what you guys need to do is you need to really figure out, like I said, write down 3 to 5 things, 3 to 5 core memories that you have from childhood, and figure out why you have such strong emotions tied to them. Because the sooner you can figure out how you were driven, you can either dangle the carrot in front of you more if you're more driven by reward, or you can use, I wouldn't say punishment because you want to use positive reinforcement, but you want to have a strong enough why that can be an anchor for you to make sure that you stick committed to something because of that fear. Now, everyone's on a spectrum. The irony is you're going to be a bit of both. So I also want you to draw so there's 3 sets of 3. First, 3 things from your childhood that you have a strong memory of, recollection of, and the emotions you've attached to it. 3 things that drive you. And then the 3 things that drive you, you want to make sure that they're 3 things that are going to drive you this month, at the end of the week, and then also at the end of the quarter and at the end of the year. So 3 things at the end of the week. So like for me, I love eating food. For me, my reward at the end of every week is I get to go and spend $200, $300, $400 on food, on junk food. That's genuinely my vice still, right? Former fat kid from 12 years ago. Now I work out a lot, so it doesn't affect me. If anything, it helps me look better. But that's my reward, right? So you want to find out your 3 rewards. That might be going to the club. That might be having a beer with a friend. That might be going out for dinner. That might be going on a date. That might be having a certain amount of downtime, 3 hours going for a walk or going for a hike or whatever. But you want to find those 3 things that are going to drive you in the week. Then for the month, that might be, okay, you get to go watch a movie in the cinemas. That might be you get to spend $500 on a really luxurious dinner because you hit KPIs. Now, again, they have to be tied to an input if it's weekly and an output, preferably an output. But if you're new, then inputs are fine as well. But if you're doing, let's just say, at least $10,000 a month and you're watching this, then you want to attach that monthly reward, those 3 monthly rewards, to an output. The quarterly thing, that should be, again, output oriented. For example, for me, if I hit X amount of money revenue by the end of June, you may or may not see me in a different vehicle. I'll put it that way. But again, that's an example. I'm not even that much of a car guy, but again, I still need things that I know I can walk towards, or I might buy a property. You get what I'm saying? That's one of the things that I have as well. I might cop 1 or 2 houses if I get to XYZ goal, I think by Q3. And then by the end of the year, so you want 3 things as well, minimally. Again, this is just an example. 3 things that you know are going to drive you by the end of the year. Again, that might be a really nice car. That might be, you go on a 2-week vacation, whatever it is to you. So those are the 3 things that you're going to drive you as the reward, the carrot you're going to dangle. For the things that are anchoring you, that make you fearful, I would use those as just things to keep in the back of your mind that you can defer to or you can remember. I said this on a Twitter post. Sometimes you just need to look at that picture of you at 7 years old with missing teeth and a gapped smile, and imagine that you are that person. And imagine that the person you are now is protecting that person. So you need to go to a picture of yourself sometimes if you're a bit stuck on this, mental activity, and you're like, oh, Dami, there's not too many memories that are stuck in my mind from when I was, below 14 years old. Go look at a picture of you when you were younger, use that as stimuli, and I can assure you'll probably find something that will remind you of something either really, really positive or something that maybe did leave some negative emotions in you. And the good thing about negative emotions is you can put on a different set of lenses mentally, and you can turn those reds into greens. Okay, guys, so please follow those action steps. I'm going to list them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.